Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find what's going on in Nigeria and get differently. Let's talk.
To manage fire outbreaks in Nigeria. Yes, that's what it is on Electable ideas. I mean, recently, my darling brother, sister, fire outbreaks, I will say fire outbreaks in Nigeria are on the increase. And, of course, have caused damages to properties, worth millions of naira, including a loss of lives, homes, offices, markets, filling stations, and other places. Not too long ago, a filling station not so far from the office, caught fire. And you hear all kinds of stories, fire stories. Now, the question tonight is, on Electable Ideas, how can this fire situation be managed? How can it be managed? Of course, a lot of situations where you hear, and I've even experienced it personally, where my neighbor's house caught fire sometime, and it was crazy having to get the federal fire service, to come help quench the fire. They later came pretty late, and I remember somebody was even making a side comment that night. It was a very crazy experience, and the person was like, "Oh, they'll never come early. Oh, they will always come late. Oh, this, and all that." And apart from that, that some of these fires are actually caused by certain wrongs we do, or by us, basically, maybe also negligence, or even mistakes. And all that. Anyway, I'll even share some tips on how, so I'll just give you some, because of the show, some preventive measures against fire disasters in your homes and offices. But tonight, basically, I'm asking, how do we solve these issues? How do we manage this fire outbreaks in country Nigeria? I've had talk with a couple of fire service people. And, we're just talking, we had a chit-chat not too long ago. I remember one of them was saying that, quite a number of people, when this fire outbreaks up, most people, instead of making attempt, maybe calling the fire service, they're all trying to quench the fire, put out the fire, instead of reaching out the fire service and all that. And maybe it's later, maybe 30 minutes later, some passerby remembers or decides to put a call through. And also, I know that's possible. It's true, because most times, the adrenaline pump, when you see fires, all that comes to your mind at the time is wanting to quench the fire or wanting to protect the kids, protect the family members, and all that. How these things work. It's not a pleasant experience. It is very scary, and it's really, really, really scary and frightening. And the disaster, oh my goodness, the experience is not funny. I'm just remembering the experience that my neighbor had. In fact, I was part of it because saw it happen. And this happens, most times things happen, if you notice, in the early hours of the morning, right? So tell me, how do you think that, these fire issues can be managed? How? Let's talk about this. Hello?
Yeah. Good morning, Blac.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you doing?
All the listeners.
All right, Barrister Hassan. Let's.
Yes. First and foremost, there's nothing that good has been careful as not to encourage the outbreak of fire. That's
very important.
Yes. Electrical wire. Making sure that if you put on candle or any combustible light, we will not go to sleep without putting it up. And of course, put up. But see, when fire does break out, as you said, you must be called fire service.
Yeah.
So at the governmental level, the men has to be up and doing reacting promptly to cause of this threat. residents of the state and other stations.
Okay.
And secondly, I think whether water is more effective than sand. I don't know now. Or sand is more effective than question fire outbreak. I don't know.
Okay, why are you asking?
No, that's what to do. Because some say that if the fire is blazing, if there's any fire outbreak, if water improvise to increase the intensity of the fire. I don't know. Because I believe so, apart from using the fire service, I think they use some chemicals as well. Then, aside from that, we should have fire extinguishers around. No matter how small your house is, you must have one. Because it's taking time. It says 9.
Yeah.
It's taking time. It's 9. So, you just can't break it. Because you don't have fire extinguisher, now blossom into something unmanageable.
Very true.
Let us have fire extinguishers.
Yeah, this is one of the things I was going to mention. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Thank you so much, Barrister, and God bless you too.
Thank you.
All right. So, by the way, I'm live on Facebook and YouTube. Please join in on the show, and you can also send your comments and your take as well, your input on this particular topic. And it's Nigeria Info Abuja on Facebook and YouTube, okay? Please feel free to sending your contributions and your take. Hello?
Black coffee.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Black honey. Black honey.
All right, Black honey. Great to hear you. Yes.
Yeah, black coffee. First and foremost, I believe the fire stations should intensify more drills and training for people, schools, and even the adults. Once in a while, arrange these things with people, so give them lectures, and then also a little bit visible. Sponsor adverts where we should have code numbers, emergency numbers on this instantly. And when we have it penalized, just as you are trying to do the much you can before reaching out to them. I'm sure if you call us, what are the emergency numbers of fire? This is
very true.
A random question or call us now and find out how people have the numbers saved in their phone. Or what numbers you don't call. You can call NEMA. NEMA will not tell you call this or call please call. So we have these numbers at our fingertips. Then regular fire drills once in a while for organizations, corporations, schools.
Yeah.
Then on part, because it takes two to tango. You shouldn't store highly flammable things within the house. This idea of keeping cylinders under your cabinet in the kitchen. You should be outside. And even when it's outside, you don't keep it where they have directly the sunlight. If you're in the compound, you are advised to dig a certain level and let your cylinder go beneath that level. So at that point, it is cool. And they find something to cover it. If there's any problem, you can easily attend to it from without putting the entire house at risk. When you have fuel scarcity and guys are busy buying 50 gallons, 20 gallons and storing in their house, it's another danger. Then, two, most importantly, you should have a form of firefighting equipment in your house, and you should know how to use it. And once in a while, as the head of the home, take your children or take the family members and show them how to use them. And not to hang it, most of us carry fire extinguishers in the car from time to time. The day you have to use it, you not pick it out, and you start with as you see it has already expired. So that's just my own idea, really.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Black Honey. Black Honey just said some things that I wanted to also say, especially right after Barrister Hassan spoke. Growing up, I remember back then in secondary school, I have experienced it twice, where the fires came to train us, on how to use the fire extinguisher, how to use the wet blanket and all that. I know these things are really happening, and there's really no awareness going on. There are no radio ads, I don't see anything on social media, and social media is big these days. Most people, is one place to drive whatever message you want to, outside radio and on TV. I really rarely hear these things, and then look at what's going on now, the fuel situation here and there. Only God knows the fire trucks can most times you might hear, there's no fuel. These things really mean a lot. They really, really matter. And like I was saying, I'm going to mention a couple of things. I'm live right now on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info Abuja. Feel free and sending your on those platforms. Hello? Good evening. Please, can you turn off your radio or move away from it? Hello?
How you doing?
I'm great. You?
I'm all right. My name is Agata.
Right, Agata. Let's talk.
Yeah. By the way, I'm coming from that point. All right?
The network doesn't seem clear at your
All right.
end.
Can you now?
Okay, yes, I can.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to come from the architectural point of view.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire safety is being design concept. So for our houses, and particularly in Abuja, has designed and made that consideration for fire. I believe in every building design, residential or public, there has to be consideration for fire safety. You know, it's what they call fire time.
Okay.
How you buy time, what are the design methodologies you apply to ensure that fire is spread. For instance, what they call compartmentalization. I understand that. When you have a building like a flat,
Okay.
there's a way you can separate every flat from the other, such that when fire from one flat, it doesn't spread all. So, by and large, our fire control can be arrested or taken care of right from the design stage. And let me talk about comment. Government also has a role to play in terms of land use and planning. Abuja master plan and all that. In the master plan, have constitution for building ideology and then giving access. One of the challenges that firefighting for when there's an emergency is access. How do you access things? How are buildings, how do you access for to navigate? That's on one hand. The government should also put in place satellite fire systems.
Yeah, though the look isn't so clear, but I can hear.
Yeah, so I'm talking about satellite.
Hello?
There's no fire station. There's no fire station. If government can open elaborate fire station, let's have satellite fire station, just like you have a police station. I got to the station when fire incidents occur. And then finally, there's a big problem as to when to call on the fire fighters in emergency. People run into this trap of, let's see if we can manage it for ourselves.
Yeah.
At what point do we call the fire fighter? It's important that as soon as the fire incident, before you first aid, follow them. Everyone will come and then you have to control the fire. Well, people, it is better late than never. You get it?
Yeah.
That's my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Agata. Thank you for your take there. We're talking about the fire service direct line because, like Black Honey mentioned when he called in, he said, there should be some kind of short code of some sort people can quickly, call. And I know that quite a number of people don't know this number. So I had to get this, and this is 0803 200 3557. 0803 200 3557. Okay, that's a duck line. All right, 0803 200 3557. Yes, so please, it's pretty important. There are just some very important things that we should not neglect. We should actually do to prevent this. Some preventive measures against fire disasters in our home and offices. Of course, I understand the emotional trauma that can be experienced when this fire outbreak. So that's one of the reasons why we have to talk about this. Now, one thing that is important, a lot of people never really pay attention to, is installing detectors. I'm just giving a few preventive measures. Yeah. Of course, functioning fire and smoke detector has actually proven to be effective when properly installed. Your first line of defense against fire outbreaks. Okay? And when the smoke and heat is the device on your wall or ceiling, the sensors inside sound the alarm. Okay? You see some very massive buildings without smoke detectors. Think about it. It's pretty important. And something that I also want to say tonight is for the fuel stations, so filling stations, when they are discharging fuel, ideally, I think they should actually have a fire service equipment mounted, on guard or on standby in case of anything. All right? I don't know what the problem is, but this, I think, should be the right practice. All right? Think about it. It's very important. And if this is actually done, I'm sure that this fire outbreaks in fuel stations won't occur. Okay? And then another thing is, watch your electric appliances. All right? I remember my neighbor's, the fire outbreak that occurred in my neighbor's house years ago. It was really scary. I told you this thing happened as early as 2 a.m. in the morning. You know, everybody was fast asleep. Thank God for their house help. Who was, who opened their eyes, who was feeling very hot in their eyes and looked up at the ceiling and saw the ceiling was red hot. And this thing actually started from the, what do they call that now? The changeover switch. And it had actually bumped into the ceiling. And it was, in fact, it was that saved their lives. So we have to be very, very conscious. Pay attention to our appliances. It's very important, all right? I mean, your gas cookers, hot plates, heaters, washing machines, even your change of switches. You know, some people just want to manage this and that. And you have to be very careful. Very careful. These things are no jokes. All right? Yeah, I mean, these machines I mentioned, they're very, very essential. They make life a lot easier. But they can also pose a fire hazard. Okay, so we've got to be very conscious. And of course, like Blac already mentioned, your gas cylinders, all right? Your gas cylinders should be replaced if you discover a gas leak or try to repair. In fact, don't try to repair a gas cylinder, okay? But keep your gas cylinder outside. Yes, outside. With enough air. Not in the kitchen. You see some people put the gas cylinder in the kitchen. Please, for me, it's a very wrong move, rather. Avoid smoking indoors as well. Very important, okay? Yeah, please, avoid smoking indoors. And be cautious of your candles. Very important. I know people get tired. I understand that there's barely, we have experienced power outage almost every now and then. So you have to probably use the candles and be careful, be watchful, be mindful, even using your generator, okay? Yeah, some people tend to run the generator all through the night into the morning. Be mindful, be watchful. Don't just go turn on, check these things. Is fuel leaking? And all that. Things are very, very important, right? So at every step of the way, safety must be top of our priority. Very important. Okay. Yeah, very, very important. All right, let me go to Facebook and see the messages you've sent in there. Don't forget, you can be a part of the show via Facebook, and you can always watch this, this program and past other programs, from 95.1 Info FM Abuja via Facebook. Nigeria Info Abuja on Facebook and on YouTube the same. Nigeria Info Abuja. Okay, so Ogbebi Solomon says, good evening, Coffee. Okay, I see you. Blac Coffee, happy to see you live on radio, television show. Oh, thank you, Estefanos Garba. And okay, I see Sulan Umar watching live from Kwarimpa. Thank you so much. Thank you for your reactions. And yes, good to see you here as well. So please, you've got to stay vigilant and careful and be very, very, very mindful of the surroundings. Don't take things for granted. And like the architect mentioned, it's really sad in some builders too are the cause of this fire outbreaks because they use substandard wiring and they don't, they use substandard wiring and the wirings of the house not properly done. Please, we've got to do the right thing. Remember that no life is a joke. Every life is important. Right. So, catch you on the show, Electable Ideas, on Tonight with Blac Coffee, next week Friday at 10:30. Do have a lovely, lovely weekend.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Fire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1. And I'm Femi D. Ahmed. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day. The way is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Facts. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the fact you cannot dispute.